All right, last chapter, final words. So we've gotten through 30 chapters. We skipped one of them, so we did 29 chapters in 8 weeks. I don't think they were incredibly long chapters, but I think they had a lot of good information in them. So in the book, the authors gave us some final parting words that said, if you want to be a sales engineer, it helps to be passionate, to really love what you're doing. And I think you saw that from Rose and Bill, that they were both really excited about what they do, and they had a good time talking about it. Especially Rose, she gets really energized with with her work. And Bill especially emphasized keep work and personal lives in balance. That as a manager, he wants to make sure that his people are healthy workers and healthy people, and that's important for a manager to consider. And you'll do better. Your employees will think better of you and work better under you if you provide that for them. It helps to consistently outperform expectations. Now that sort of at odds with the previous one, to keep a work-life balance. But when you are working, make sure that you're doing your work to the best of your ability and beyond that ability. That if there's an expectation of you and you hit that expectation, that you try to go beyond it. You get done with a project early. Don't just sit back and relax. Make it awesome, or pick up something else and help someone else out, or do something that will advance you. Go to that to-do list and start checking off items from that to-do list of catching up on materials and readings and trainings. And that'll help you outperform expectations, because most people just get their work done and then call it a day. Build and maintain relationships. Bill hit this on the head and said, he gives a business card, and he talks to everyone he meets and gives them a business card, because you never know when that could come in handy. The major career opportunities in my life came out of building and maintaining relationships, not going out and seeking want ads or reading the paper, or job hunting in the traditional way. I don't think I've ever actually job hunted in a traditional way, looking for a job where I didn't first establish a personal connection before applying to it, and had that personal connection going in. So it's very, very helpful to have that prior knowledge, to have that relationship built. So there's a foundation coming into the interview of, hey, you know me, let me tell you more about me, maybe some things you don't know about me. So if you thought I was good before, now you think I'm awesome coming out. And I'll work well with you because I've worked well with you in the past. And it really makes it easier to make a hiring decision if you know someone beyond just the framework of the interview, because you know more about them to make that decision. Now, it might be you also know that you don't want to hire them, but hopefully you have impressed someone in a good way. Set and achieve goals. Scheduling is part of that, but you want to have short-term goals are your schedule. Long-term goals are where you want to be in 5 or 10 years. Have a plan in mind. I knew from my junior year in college that I wanted to be a college professor, and I realized that the path to doing that was to get experience as an engineer, get my PhD, and then find a job as a professor. And it took me, working a job and working on a PhD at the same time. I got a full-time job and was working full-time as a student, working on both simultaneously. And then after I had my PhD and got some more experience till I felt I was ready, that's when I made the change and applied to become a professor. So I set goals when I was in school, before I graduated school, and I realized what career path I wanted, and I worked towards that over, it took me, it was a decade, 2011, I graduated. So 8 years after I graduated with my master's. So it took me, I spent 8 years getting experience as an engineer and working on my PhD, 4 years working on my PhD of that 8, right in the middle of it. And then I felt I was in a position where I would be a good candidate for a faculty position. I don't think I'd be as good of a professor or have the experience to draw upon as a professor if I jumped straight from college to PhD to academia without working in the middle. I wouldn't have met Bill. I met Bill when he was new at MECO, and I was working at Penn State as a research engineer. That formed my MECO connection that I brought into RMU and rekindled at RMU, that has then become a basis for my research, which again, connections I built prior in another career, translating into other opportunities years down the road. I've known Bill now for at least 12 years, 12 or 13 years. When he was brand new at MECO when we first met. And lastly, continually challenge yourself. Can't stress this enough, that when you get complacent in a job, then it can get easy, but also get boring. And you can find yourself not doing things as well as you should be. And every once in a while, it really is a good idea to push yourself out of your comfort zone and try something new and try to challenge yourself. Because you don't have job growth, you don't have personal growth without that. The times in my life I've challenged myself to try something new or try something I'm comfortable with, starting a nonprofit, running for a public office, and running things I never thought I'd do. And, those experiences just really affected my life for the positive, and things I hadn't expected I would ever do in my life. But then the opportunity came up, I pursued them, and they worked out for me. Even working with MECO, I didn't think I could do laser welding. I didn't have the experience to really go into that area. It would have been new for me, but it was also new for them. So I figured, well, let it be new for both of us, and I'll jump on board and I'll be their guy to figure this out. And it's been, a really great experience working with them on the welding project over the years. So those are the final words of the book, coupled with my final words. And actually, and now I need to stop. I forgot to stop the recording between chapters. I'll have to edit that later and break it up into 2 chapters. But let me stop here. And our final discussion question. So for those watching at home, you can go fill out your final discussion post, and we will do our final discussion here.